Good morning, and I thought this lesson we bring some more flexibility to the spine by investigating and enjoying some rotational movements in the twisting poses as well as some other poses. So we'll start in Adho Mukha Virasana. So bring your toes together and your heels apart and sit between your heels. Remember, if kneeling is not an option, you can always sit on a chair and come forwards onto your props on another chair, or you could always sit on a block between your feet and your buttocks. So keep the weight firmly down. Notice where your shins are. Have the centre of the shin going straight down and come forwards halfway. Just notice what happens to your shins. Try not to roll them in or out. Keep the shoulders back and lengthen the front body. And then today I've got a block and a blanket, and I'm going to bring the arms forwards and rest my forehead on the block. I'm going to look up a little bit first and really stretch the front body without losing the weight of the buttocks going down onto the heels. And then rest the forehead with the skin coming from the hairline to the eyebrows. It just helps to quieten the mind a little. Press all of your fingers down and your hands evenly into the ground and rotate the inner upper arms to the ceiling. Keep your shoulders back and let your upper spine move in between the shoulder blades. Now quieten the face, and in this position observe the breath and try and think of width in the back body. So spreading the back ribs away from the spine as you breathe in. Pressing the shins down, pressing the feet down. Now while we're here, if you have room, you may like to investigate taking the arms out at shoulder height. And see if there's any difference in the broadness of the chest and the ability of you to connect with that widthways expansion that the breath, the in-breath creates. Keep the shoulders back. Keep the length in the abdomen and in the ribs coming forwards. Think of the action on the inner legs, from the inner knees going back to the top of the thighs. That's the direction of the action, so that the top of the thighs have a certain weight to them, pressing down. And then bring the arms forwards once more. Get that firmness in the hands, the lift in the elbows, the rotation in the upper arms. And then look forwards, come up, bring the knees together for a moment. And then we're going to twist here by bringing the left elbow across to the outside of the right knee and the right hand on the lower back and just turning the spine so you could look up to the ceiling if that's comfortable for your neck. Keep the tailbone in though and keep the weight back down through the buttocks. If you can't get as far as your elbow, you could always be a little higher up. And really lengthen the spine. Keep that top shoulder back. come up, keep the body long, turn to the left, bring the right elbow across. Left hand on the lower back, press the forearm down, lengthen the body, shoulders back, turn. Look up rather than look back. Keep the tailbone in, press down on your feet, press down on your shins. Make sure you're breathing easily and that your face is relaxed. All right, and then come all the way up. Clear your space. We're going to lie down with the hands outstretched. Palms up to the ceiling. Just an easy movement here. Tuck the shoulder blades under. Keep the feet a good hip distance apart. And we're just going to take the knees to the right. So you keep your shoulders down, you look up at the ceiling, and then just bring them back to the centre, take them to the left. When they go to the left, think of the right knee going towards the ground, the right hip can lift. Let's come again. It's good to observe if both sides, back to the left, both sides feel the same, or one may be a little easier. So to the right and to the left. All right, and then back to here. Now you might need a belt here. So, if you take your belt, you won't need a loop. Supta Padangusthasana. So if you lie down, you can have your knees bent to start. Tuck your shoulders under. Take the pelvis towards the feet. So we're going to raise the right leg without turning that hip. Keep that hip going away from your head. Put the belt around the ball of the foot. Make sure your knees looking straight at you. Keep your back ribs on the ground. Your pelvis, back of the pelvis on the ground, both hips moving away from you equally. And then, if it's possible for you, you raise your toes on the left foot and stretch the heel away. Try to bring that left thigh down to the ground. Now in doing so, you might notice that your pelvis has moved, so try to get the sacrum fully down on the ground. Stretch the heel of the right foot up into the air, stretch the ball of the foot into the belt and draw the belt towards you. All right, and then bend the knees, bring the feet back together. Put the belt around the left foot, stretch the left foot up. We want to engage the thigh muscle here, so really sort of lift the knee, stretch the heel away. And now lift the toes on the right foot and stretch that right heel away, taking the right thigh down. Taking the right thigh down really opens up the left leg. Keep the pelvis down, the ribs down. Feel where your left buttock is pointing. You want it to point a little bit towards the right foot so that the left hip is moving away from you. Keep your chest open. Keep your arms separated. Keep pushing the lifted foot up into the belt and drawing on the belt, bringing the belt towards you, pressing the right thigh down. And then release. Now this one will start with both legs straight, and you'll want room to the side of you. So I'm going to turn around so you'll be able to see me. We're going to take the right leg out to the left, so you'll want room on the left side. So both legs are pressing down, the pelvis moving towards the feet, the shoulders moving towards the feet, the shoulder blades, the ribs down. So now you've got to keep that left thigh down, press it down with the muscle there, and stretch the right leg back up to the vertical. Watch your pelvis, watch your ribs. Now here, take both pieces of belt into your left hand. You can hold the foot or hold the belt, but you want this right leg to be straight, this thigh muscle pressing back. Now, my right thumb I'm going to put into my top of my right leg to keep that right hip going away. Now, take the right leg out to the left. This right hip can lift up, but try to keep the right shoulder down. If you've got room, you could stretch the right arm out sideways. Now, I'm going to keep that right leg coming over until it's parallel to the floor. Now, I could put my elbow down here on the ground, and that will help to stabilise it. Keep gripping in your right outer ankle so your foot looks as if it still belongs to your leg. Now the left leg, the toes can roll out to the left a little, but just remember that in the end you want that left thigh to be rolling more in towards the right thigh. Keep your body facing the ceiling. So we're bringing a twist here into the spine. The upper spine is looking up to the ceiling, but the pelvis is turning to the left. Okay, and then bring the leg back up, release. I'm just going to turn around. If you've got lots of room, you don't have to turn around. So here, feeling the firmness of the right leg with the ground, lifting, bending the left, bringing the left leg up. Making both thighs firm and stretching both heels away. Taking the belt now into the right hand. I'm using my left thumb just to remind me to get that left buttock to point a little bit towards the right foot, the left hip to move away, the left side of the body is long. And then taking the leg across. Doesn't have to be done rapidly, you can move gradually. Have a look, see how far it's come. Remember to rest, you can rest your right elbow. Grip in that outer ankle on that left leg. Take that left hip away. You can even lift your shoulder blades and just move them a little to the right. And that will help this rotation in the top chest so it can keep looking straight up at the ceiling. Don't forget to breathe. Watch the firmness in the right leg. Enjoy that stretch. Try to keep that left foot level with the hip rather than approaching the right foot. So the left leg stays high, stays hip height. Keep lifting the thigh muscles and pressing them back. Keep tucking the tailbone down and in, away from your head. Sacrum's moving away from your head. All right, and then raise the leg and release. So, I'm going to bring the chair in here. You don't have to use a chair, but for dog pose, I'm going to start the practice using the chair for dog pose. So, holding the sides of your chair, make sure your chair is on your mat and resting against a wall so you don't slip. And step back. Keep your ears in line with your upper arms and lift the upper arms to the ceiling. Keep the shoulders back. Keep the tailbone in so you don't drop your waist. Feet spread back. Thighs press back to take the hips back. Think of stretching the sides of the body. Lift the elbows, lift the inner upper arms. Now I'm going to come from here into upward facing dog. So when you tuck the tailbone in, shoulders back, lift the chest, no end. Look up if it's comfortable for you, but keep your shoulders down, spread the collarbones, keep that outward rotation on the upper arms. Keep the legs strong, firmness in the thighs. Look up, lift, 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 and then come back. So you might find that you were a little bit far away from the chair. You might need to come forwards. So back to dog pose here. And then we'll repeat that 3 times, I think. So you look forwards, you lift your chest, you tuck your tailbone in, and here you are. You come back, keep the shoulders back, keep the wide collarbones, broad chest. Okay, lift the chest, shoulders back, tailbone in, strong legs. And all the way back. And once more. So lift the head, lift the chest, shoulders back. Doesn't matter, you can roll over your toes or you can keep your toes under. Okay. And then we can do it on the floor. I'm going to say you. So if your hands feel a little as though they're going to slip on the bricks, then you can always put your yoga mat on top. So, dog pose here. I've caught the heel of my hand on the brick to stop the hand slipping, but you need to press your fingers down quite firmly. Shoulders lift, length in the body, tailbone in, strong legs, press back through the feet, the shins, the thighs. And then same thing, lift the head, lift the chest, tuck the tailbone in, lift up. In fact, if this feels a little strong, you can put your knees down and keep your tailbone in and get a little bit more lift in the chest. Soften the buttocks. Come back. And then 3 more. So, don't think too much. Just let the body be loose. And then from here, you might like to walk forwards, put your blocks up here and stretch forwards. Keep the tail in, lengthen the spine, look at the ground ahead of you. Press your hands down, spread the collarbones and come up. So Surya Namaskar, just a couple of salute to the suns. So we'll stand here with feet together and take the arms up. We're going to start in Utkatasana. So you bring your knees forwards, tuck your tailbone in, keep your front ribs back, keep your arms back, look up at the ceiling. Now, move the chair away, stretch forwards. Now here we're going to do a little twist. So can you bring your legs onto the outside of your knee, hand on the lower back, and look up at the ceiling. And then come back to the front, stretch forwards, bring the right arm on the outside of the left knee and turn. Twist, press the elbow more to turn more. And then come forwards, stretch forwards the whole body on the thighs, hands down, and then straighten the legs, draw down, Uttanasana. And then hands down, bend the knees. Remember, you can jump or you can step. So back into dog pose. So stretch back through the legs, press down with the hands, lift up through the arms, lengthen the body. Now, Virabhadrasana 1, so come up onto your toes, step your right foot between your hands, stretch forwards, take the left heel down. Now, in right hand on the lower back and turn up to the ceiling. Bring the hand down and then come up, hands on the hips, look forward, strong back leg, sink this front buttock down, take the arms forward, take them all the way up, but keep the tailbone in, right dog face up, keep the tailbone in, the shoulders back, lift the chest, look up if you can. Okay, back to dog pose. One more, face up dog. Back to dog pose. Come onto your toes. Bring your left foot forward. Stretch forwards. Keep your right hand down. Turn. Keep gripping in that left outer hip. Bring the arm forwards, take the heel down now, come up, hands on your hips, strong back leg, turning the hips, this right hip comes forwards, left hip back, take the arms forwards, take the arms up, keep that tucking in of the tailbone, if you can look up, so waist back, abdomen back, and then back we go, dog pose. And either little steps forwards or bend your knees, look forwards, jump, stretch forwards, stretch down, hands behind your legs if you can't reach the ground, arms all the way up and down. Just one more of those. Stretch up, Utkatasana, turn to the left. This time you could get your hand all the way down and take the other arm up and turn. Breathe. use the bottom arm like a lever. Keep the spine straight and try to get a little more. Okay, and then Utkatasana. Turn to the left. Either keep the elbow, put the hand down, turn, take the left arm up. And then come back to the centre, stretch forwards, stretch here, forwards, down, bend the knees, take little steps or jump, dog pose, up on your feet, right foot forwards, left hand down, twist, take the arm up if you want, pull the arms apart. Come back, heel down, up to Virabhadrasana 1. Lift the fingers, strong arms. Back to dog pose. Up on your toes, left foot forwards, keep the right hand down, turn to the left, take the arm up, really lift up out of that right arm, don't sink into the shoulder, take the shoulder back, and then arm down, get the right heel down, come up, Virabhadrasana 1, stretch up. Sink that left buttock down. Take it towards your left knee. Draw up from the hips, turning the hips to face forward. And then back to dog pose. Face up dog. Back to dog pose. Little steps or a jump. Stretch forwards, stretch down, arms up. Back to Namaste. So hopefully we're warming the spine up. And now I'm going to do Parsvottanasana and into Parivrtta Trikonasana. Now you can do this with a chair, with bricks, or just without props. Let's try the chair first. So standing at the back of your mat, and I've got a nice wall space here. So I'm going to show you how you can use that as well. So you turn your left toes out 45 degrees and step forward with the right heel. Now if you're quite near to the wall, you can have that left hip on the wall for support. So you want to get the right hip sort of parallel with the left hip here, so the pelvis is sort of level. Lift up, tuck the tailbone in, really draw up here, lengthen the front body, and then you can come forwards, and the chair can be used either, you could put your hands here and achieve length in the front and back body. Now, using a support does enable you to focus on the alignment, and it gives you a little help to achieve this. So really press on the inner foot, the inner front foot. Draw up that front thigh muscle and tuck that right hip in. Press down on the outer back foot. Draw up through that thigh muscle and bring the left hip forwards and think to yourself, is my pelvis level and aligned? Right hip with left hip. Think of gripping the hips a little. Don't lose your tummy, so keep your tailbone in. Shoulders are back. Inner upper arms to the ceiling, but keep the thumb side of the hand pressing down. And then to come up. And on the other side, I'll bring the bricks. So here I'm very close to the wall. So turn the right toes out and step forward with the left. I've got to bring the right arm forwards because there's no room for it with the right hip on the wall. And I've got to tuck the tailbone in, turn the hips, lift up through the chest, shoulders down. Keep this length in the body. Come forwards. Ideally, you want the front heel aligned with the arch of the back foot. Now, the bricks, if you're going to use them, they need to be by your ankle so that your arms aren't going forwards at the moment, because this helps keep your shoulders back, your collarbones spreading so your chest is open. Now, think about the pelvis. That right hip has to draw round, the left hip back and in. The abdomen lengthening but not dropping. And just look at the ground ahead of you. Just observe, you can have a look at the front foot. There's a tendency to want to roll out on the ankle or on the ball of the foot. So keep all four corners of that foot pressing down without scrunching up your toes. And think of that front thigh coming forwards to help tuck the front hip in. Back foot, lift the arch. Extend back through the heel. Turn the back thigh away from you as that right hip comes round. Okay, and then come all the way up. Parivrtta Trikonasana. If you're going to use a chair, then you can bring it in front of you. So, feet together, turn the left toes out, step forward with the right. Now I've still got my left hip on the wall, and I'm bringing the chair level with my foot and shin. So here, we're going to turn the body. I'm going to raise the left arm up and turn the body towards the right, keeping the tailbone in, keeping the legs strong. Stretch forwards. Now, the chair, in the pose, your hand would be by your ankle or shin. So here I'm putting my hand on the chair at that point, and I'm using that to help me turn my chest back to the wall. If you can come a little bit more forwards, you can take the elbow down. Make sure the chair is quite near. Take the elbow down and achieve that turning, and then you might be able to get the top arm up. Keep strong legs though. It's a challenge sometimes to get that back heel down on the ground and that front hip drawing back and in, turning abdomen, chest, and the head if that's comfortable for you. And then coming back round. So now if you choose, you can use a brick, and remember the brick can be any height. Feet together. Take the right toes out, step forward with the left. Turn the hips just as before. Raise the right arm. And now we're turning the body into the room. Keeping the legs strong. Stretching forwards. If it's easier for you and you want to keep the hand on the inside of the foot, then that's fine. If you're using a wall, keep your body on the wall. You can, if you're using a brick, you can place it inside or outside of the foot here. Turn the chest. Take the arm up if you can. Look up if you can. Remember, you're drawing the right ribs down, the left ribs up and back. And also, we're not sinking into that bottom shoulder, the right shoulder. We're lifting up out of the right shoulder and drawing the left arm up. Firm feet, strong thighs, grip the hips, turn the body, soften the face. And then turn back to the front and come all the way up. And then you may like to put your hips on the wall. Bring your feet a little forwards. If your back's feeling a little stiff, you could bend your knees. Keep your body long. Come forwards. Link the thumbs into the elbows. Keep the forearms by your head, or even at the back of your head, to keep your upper back in as you come forwards. Do catch your breath. Broaden the chest. Soften your face. Lift your shoulders. Just relax the brain. All right, and then hands down. Look forwards. You can bend your knees or keep them straight to come all the way up. Right, Parivrtta Parsvakonasana. Now, we can do this pose with a chair. Sometimes using a chair isn't always an easy option, but I will show you here. With a yoga chair, you can sit through the chair, which is an advantage of the chair. So you could be using this as a starting position. I'm surmising that many people haven't got a yoga chair, and so I'm going to just show you like this. Make sure you've got a stable chair. Now, if you're a small person, I'm verging on that, you could put a block under your front leg. If you're a tall person, you can put blocks on the chair seat to help you to, you want your thigh to be level. So here I've only got my right thigh on the chair and I'm bringing my left hip round. Like Virabhadrasana 1, and by all means you can come to Virabhadrasana 1 on the chair. But now, Parivrtta, rotated, Parsvakonasana, we have to turn to the right. So I'm going to hold the chair here and turn to the right. Trying to keep the back leg down, the tailbone in, long spine, turn. Now, I have to keep that turn as I go towards the front leg. So now I'm trying to get my left elbow on the outside of the front knee and using that as a lever to turn more. And then you can either take your hand to the ground, onto a block, hold the chair leg, Just make sure as you do that, I can feel that the abdomen needs to turn more. Now, this top hand here, I can use to help me to turn the body more. Keeping the spine long, tailbone in, keeping the back leg as strong as I can, keeping that right hip tucked in, right foot firm, the inner foot firm, taking the spine in between the shoulder blades and looking up if you can. To come back round, come all the way up. Now you can repeat that on the other side, or we can use a brick for the hand if needed. So here, standing version, so you take your right toes out, and by all means you can pause the video and do the chair turn and then come back to do the standing version. So right toes out, stepping forward quite boldly with the left foot. So I'm coming back now, turning the hips, coming back into that Virabhadrasana 1 sort of starting position. I've still got the wall. I could be nearer to the wall here and keep that right hip on the wall for stability, and then coming down and turning the body. I don't have the chair now, but I have the wall. And then lengthening the body forwards, but keep turning as you lengthen forwards. So you're keeping that turn in the abdomen, and you can bring the right elbow across to do that. Keep the body long. And you can even hold the right thigh and just turn a little bit more. Get more turn in the abdomen. And then we want to run that upper arm down the leg and either take a block or take the floor with the upper arm. Make sure you're down enough. If you're not, your arm is not going to be on the outside of the knee. The knee's going to slip out. Turn the whole body up to the ceiling. Keep the back leg as strong as you can. Keep the heel coming towards the left. The toes of the back foot still going to the right. Once the right shoulder is up, you can take the arm up. If you're lucky enough, you can turn the hand and take the arm over the ear and look up under the arm, still turning. And breathing, arm back, turning back to the front and coming back up. So, now I think we'll just come to sitting on the chair. Sit on the chair with the feet leg distance apart. Maybe I'll show you from the side. And lengthen your body forwards. Bring your hands down between your legs. Catch your breath. Make sure you're breathing into the abdomen here as well as the chest. You may like to stay here. You may be able to hold the back legs of the chair and draw your body down a little more. But I'm using this just to spread the sacrum, the lower back, broaden the back spine in case we've got more flexible areas of the spine and less flexible. And in case you've overdone, particularly the lumbar area, using that to enable you to twist if your upper back is a little tight. Soften your face, let go of your neck and observe the breath. And feel the spread in the lower back. You can stay here for a moment. I'm just going to set up for a shoulder stand. So I'm going to put the blocks in a square shape. I'm going to use a fifth block to sit on, to go into the pose. I'm going to then put a mat on the 4 blocks. This does help, especially if you're a little bit slippy in the pose. I'm going to use a belt, but it's not obligatory. And remember, to get a non-slipping belt, you need to put the end of the belt on the inside, take it down the inside of the buckle and up through the outside of the buckle. And I'm going to measure that shoulder width. Outside of the shoulders, if your shoulders are stiff, just inside if they're not. Okay, so I've got that just above the elbows. Sitting on the 5th block. Getting the shoulders on the block, but not right up to the edge, because they will roll forwards. Now, I'm going to roll all the way over into Halasana. Then I can tuck the shoulders more back. Stretch the arms back. Press the upper arms down and out into the belt, and then bring the hands, bring the index fingers as low down on the spine, catching the lowest rib I can. And then the hands can go on the back, and then you can come up into shoulder stand. By all means, you could walk your legs up the wall to get into shoulder stand. You could take your legs all the way over onto the wall at hip height if you can't reach the ground. Tuck the sacrum in, stretch up through the legs. You really want the pubic bone to come just a little bit forwards of the thighs. Grip the outer ankles in. Stretch the big toe side of the foot to the ceiling. Bring the little toes back towards you. Try Baddha Konasana. Bring the soles of the feet together. Point the feet up to the ceiling. Tuck the sacrum in. Draw the sacrum up vertically. This pose helps you to become a little bit more vertical in the pose. You could extend the legs now straight and apart. Keep that verticality in the sacrum. Then bring the legs back together. Now, coming to Halasana, feet together, or you can bend the knees if you need to, and bring the feet beyond the head. Bring the hips a little forwards. Lift up through the spine. Make sure that your chin isn't jamming into your neck. Keep your legs strong. Now I'm going to take the belt off and take the legs apart. Supta Konasana. Still lift up through the hips and legs and feet. Now Parshva Konasana. I'm keeping the left foot where it is and taking the right foot to join it. Now here, you want to lift up through the right side of the body. Keep that right hip level with the left hip. Keep the body facing forwards, well, the chest. Back to Supta Konasana. Lift up and then bring the left foot to join the right foot. Lift the right hip, lift the left hip. Keep the shoulders firm, the upper arms firm, the legs stretching up. Soft face. Coming back, Supta Konasana. Halasana. Remembering the benefits of being upside down, the circulatory system, the digestive system, hormonal system, the brain, and then coming back up, Sarvangasana. You can come up one leg at a time, both legs together. When you first begin to practice, you may find the blood rushes to your head. So do come down and try for a short while again. But time can be built up in this pose as your body gets used to being upside down. And then to come down, simply bend the knees and roll. You may like to take this block here and place it under your head for a moment and give yourself a time to catch your breath. And then to come up, we'll roll onto the right side and come up. And then to finish, we'll do Jatahara Parivartanasana, and then we will do Shavasana. So Jatahara Parivartanasana, take the hands out at shoulder height, bend the knees. Now, if you have any back issues, let the legs rest on the floor or on a bolster or blocks. So take your knees to the right. Now they can hover here. They're going up to the elbow. They're staying close to the body. Bring them back to centre. Take them to the left elbow. Keep the body facing up to the ceiling. Try to keep the right knee on top of the left knee. Bring the legs in. Come back to the centre. Remember, if you're menstruating or have a back problem, let the legs rest. So this time you can repeat or take the knees to the right, and then you might like to try to stretch out the top leg, the left leg. And then bring the knees and feet together. Come back to the centre. Breathe in. And as you breathe out to the left elbow, I don't know if I've got room, and stretch the right leg out. And then bend back to the centre, feet down. If there's any tightness in the back, do hug the knees in. And then get yourself ready for Shavasana. So you may want support under your head. If there's any tightness in your back, then remember you can always put a bolster under your knees or blocks, or you can always use your chair. You could put your lower legs on your chair here. It just helps the lower back to relax. Draw the shoulder blades right down under the back. Spread the lower back. Turn the arms out. Make sure your head, your forehead, nose, chin is level or coming slightly forwards, not back. Close your eyes. Let your breath settle. If you have glasses, they need to come off. Let your legs settle. Stretch your heels away from your calves. Let your calves relax and sink onto their support. Let go of your front thighs and your back thighs. In fact, let the front thighs almost move into the back thighs. Let the pelvis spread from the centre out to the side body. Soften through the abdomen. Release the back ribs, shoulder blades, back of the head, back of the neck. Feel spacious, lifted and open in the chest. Heavy arms. Soft palms and fingers. Soften through your face, spreading the temples, the forehead, the eyebrows, between the eyebrows, Let the eyes sink. Soften the pupils of the eyes. Smooth, soft in and out breaths. Allow your body to absorb the prana, the life force from your yoga practice. And do stay here as long as you need. When you come back, you will roll to your right side. Support your your head in your right hand for a moment, and push up to sitting with your left hand.